No, Jack Hayes. Anyways,
What happened to him?
nothing happened to him. I just fucking was wondering why he never got picked in the side for the last 2-3 weeks because I thought he was gonna be a sleeper pick on fantasy, and apparently he in the game now. Anyways,
Yeah. Heard.
yep.
Juwan next to Don.
Set my STEEZ. Know what's going on? Yes, Lord.
Bring y'all post game review. Yeah, we just Battle of the Bridge, if you don't mind. Sydney Swans versus GWS
At the SCG.
Yeah, so coming into this game, I took GWS. And this is a game I really didn't know which way it could go. Both these teams are very competitive, both top of the ladder, both grand final contenders right now, as I see it. So I definitely was just like, this is going to be a good game. I don't know who to tip. I should have tipped Sydney because it was at the SCG and they have a true home field advantage, unlike most other rivalries, if you don't mind. So SCG did have a slight edge, but I just believe in GWS more, and that was wrong.
Yeah. So coming in for me, did expect it to be a ding-dong affair, if you don't mind, between both teams. Pretty much just to reiterate what you were saying, they're both teams that contended for the grand final. I can't remember where exactly they were both on the ladder coming into this game, but I think they were for top 4, top 5.
Second and third.
Second and third. So yeah, definitely expected that a very high quality game of football. Yeah, and we got that from one side.
Yeah, so first quarter was the most ding-dong-ish, if you don't mind, of all the quarters this game. Nobody really got control of the first quarter. It was goals on both ends. Definitely a filling out period. I think it was a slight wet weather the first quarter, and then second quarter it was torrential downpour, basically. But
Yeah.
Sydney impresses me, man. I think they are the younger team, but they're growing fast. I think their chemistry is on point. And I'm going every direction, so go ahead.
So the first quarter to me, I think was GWS's best quarter of the whole game. It kind of was a little bit similar to the Collingwood-Carlton game last night, in the same sense that you kind of got your best punch thrown first from GWS, and then the rest of the game they kind of didn't live up to the hype that they put out in the first quarter. But for good reason, though. I would like to think in the beginning you seen flashes of the key forwards of GWS really moving the ball well and getting the ball and forcing turnovers, and I think Cadman was looking really good early on, and
with an early goal.
Yep, and Jesse Hogan too. Just the forwards were looking better from GWS, and they were able to take marks inside 50, whereas I think Sydney wasn't able to do that. And Giants were just better in the stoppages, and I do think that they have an advantage there just with Tom Green that they have. And he ended up rolling his ankle or whatever, or somebody rolled up on his own ankle.
Yeah.
I want to say that was like later in the first quarter, and from that point, that's not the only reason, but that also, and I think in the rain, Sydney was able to really end up jumping on top of GWS in that particular category, and they started actually doing better from turnover as well. So Sydney started finding their forwards started looking better, but I think Sydney's midfield in general was just really, really good, bro. They hunted the footy, the pressure was up, and I think they just outplayed GWS midfield for most of the night.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Sydney forwards, Will Hayward had a great fucking game. He kicked 4 goals. I didn't even know he kicked that many till I just looked, but he was definitely a very active player. Chad Warner is a player that stood out a lot as well. Rowbottom got him some goals too. It was just, like I said, the chemistry with Sydney, it seems like it's growing, it's getting better. These guys have been playing together the last few years. Like, most of these guys came in as like rookies not all together, but around the same time. It's like the same generation that's just coming up together, and I think they're competing a lot earlier than people were thinking, and just even though they've been making it far these last 2 years, it really seems and feels like it's coming together this year for them. So if I had to pick right now, I'll definitely say Sydney is a grand final contender and should be in the grand final. Yeah, them boys is dangerous.
Yeah, I think it helps when they get something like the young talent like Logan McDonald able to show a little bit more of what he's been able to do rather than, well, compared to, well, they say it takes key forwards some time to get right. And we see it with Cadman too. They're both looking good.
Yeah.
And they're both elevating their team to higher levels that we want to see them get to. But GWS didn't even have any goals in the second quarter, so they did struggle right there. They led at the beginning, at the end of the first quarter, and Sydney wasn't able to put up many points or convert their points.
To be fair, the second quarter was the torrential
downpour,
so rain, the wet weather does affect skill a lot. So just throwing that out there, they weren't just ass as fuck.
Right.
Sydney wasn't just, but hell yeah.
Yeah, I think it took them some time to try and get adjusted without Tom Green, and I don't think they were really able to. Toby Green had a quiet game, really one of the more quieter forwards, which you want to be able to see him turn up, especially since he has the capabilities to play in the midfield as well. But Sydney's pressure, I think, was just too much for GWS, really, especially in the third quarter and going into the end of the game. By the third quarter, and you kind of knew it was already going to be Sydney's game. They just looked too good, bro. When Sydney gets rolling, there's no way to stop them, it seems like, bro. And also want to highlight Tom McCartan got a concussion this game, which, seeing how his brother just had to retire and they both had concussions that same game, and he has his own concussion history. You hate to see that.
Yeah.
So best wishes go out to Tom McCartan and his family. But this was the first loss that GWS had during the season after leading after the first quarter. So are we seeing some cracks?
Yeah. Could be, especially Tom Green. Who knows how long he's about to be out too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how GWS recovers from this. But just want to add onto just Sydney's midfield. They disposal wise, looking at the numbers, Golden had 29, Warner had 28, Heaney had 26, and David Arapai had 24, and that's above all GWS players until you get to 24. Then GWS is thrown in the mix, but they just were dominating the disposal numbers. They just had more opportunities, more chances to do what they wanted, and just more opportunities usually equals winning games, and that's what it was.
Yeah, and low-key Grundy was good this game doing that, the guy with the big shiner.
Yeah, he did get fucked up.
But just to add on to the disposal, the clearance numbers are pretty important too. Just seeing that all those clearance numbers are just higher than all of GWS aside from like Cal Ward. But Warner and Heaney, you've seen those two just getting the ball forward and having so many inside 50s and just giving the forwards opportunities. And I know the forwards were licking their chops this game. And big up to Sydney for this win, man. It was a pretty big deal in my opinion.
Yeah. That's all I got for this one.
Yeah.
Y'all like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube shit. Tune in. We do be live.
Yes.
Whenever you see this. Not for Saints North, though, because that game ass. Finna take a nap. But we will be live from Melbourne, Geelong, dude. Sprinkle in that little West Coast, you know what I'm saying? West Coast all day, every day. But, hey, yeah, catch y'all.
Catch y'all.